Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm Brummie Joe, and today we're going to be discussing 10 players that won't be playing at the World Cup. Now, some of these are down to tactical reasons, others countries didn't qualify, but we're going to be looking at the best players that we'll be missing out on this summer. Stick around, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it. First of all, we've got to go with the Italian legend, Gianluigi Buffon. What a strange 2018 he's had. It's not exactly the fairy tale ending he was hoping for, and many of us were hoping for, with obviously them missing out on the Champions League final and Italy not even qualifying for the World Cup. I think that was one of the big shocks of the qualifiers. My dad was definitely shocked. He was not happy. Buffon planned to retire at the end of the 2018 World Cup, but unfortunately they're not even going to make it there, so he's hung up his gloves internationally, and we're yet to know whether he has done that for his domestic campaign as well. He's left Juventus, but he hasn't officially announced his retirement yet. Could there be more to come from Buffon? We'll have to see. Tears flowed from Buffon and many Italians, including my dad probably, as Italy fell to a 1-0 loss to Sweden over 2 legs. Next up, and this might have been a big shock at the start of the season, but Alvaro Morata will not be attending the World Cup either, as Spain cut him, but they included Diego Costa in. After his £60 million move from Real Madrid to Chelsea, he never really lived up to the expectations of the Chelsea fans. It's always tough moving to the Premier League for a lot of players, and it sometimes takes a season to adjust, and maybe that's the case here, but unfortunately it's come at the wrong time and he's sacrificed his World Cup appearance for it. Diego Costa, however, moving the other way from Chelsea back to Spain, he's made the cut, and fair play to him. He couldn't play until January, but he's done enough to get in the World Cup squad, so fair play Diego Costa. Was it the right decision? Let me know in the comments. Next up is Radja Nainggolan from Belgium, and Radja has now stated that he will not be playing international football anymore. He has retired from international football since he's been left out of the Belgium squad. Now, Belgium is always a funny squad. They seem to be a team full of individuals. I always think every year they're going to do it this time, they're going to do it this time, but we keep saying it. When are they going to perform? The exclusion of Radja Nainggolan from Belgium was down to tactics, says their manager. It was because apparently he performs a certain role at his club Roma that he just can't do at Belgium. It's just not right. And it could be a bold move from their manager, but could it be the right one? You know, sometimes you don't bring every single player just for their ability. You need a team that can gel. And Belgium have shown that they can't really gel that much over the previous World Cups and Euros. You know, so maybe it's a welcome change, but do you think Radja should have gone? Again, let me know. Next up is France, and to be fair, I can make an entire video on the players that didn't go to the World Cup that were French. They have got such a massive squad. The depth in that team is amazing, but one of the standouts is Anthony Martial. He's been hit and miss since joining Man U. I feel like he still hasn't unlocked his full potential. It seemed like a good move going to Man U, but then ever since Alexis Sanchez was signed, he seems to have taken his place. He's gone down the pecking order, and I think he needs to move away, really, to re-establish himself and get him in that France squad for the next Euros or the next World Cup. He needs to be starting games. He can't always be coming on as a sub here and there, and we know that Mourinho likes to do that. He likes to utilise players, and some will say, does Sanchez even deserve to be starting that much? Because he's not been playing that well either. Next up was the man that scored the winning goal for Germany in the last World Cup, and now he's not even on the plane. It's Mario Götze. He's just gone downhill since that amazing moment in the World Cup, and you know, he was at such a young age as well. It just wasn't his season, unfortunately, and he must be absolutely gutted. Borussia Dortmund finished 4th, as Mario Götze only managed to score 3 goals and get 6 assists this season. It just wasn't his year, and you know, in the lead up to a World Cup, you need to have a good season, and it's such a shame the amount of pressure that must be on these players. But then again, you've got to handle pressure to deliver in World Cups. Hopefully we can see Götze get back into that squad. We know he wants to. He's tweeted out about it. Get back into that squad. I'm sure you can. You're still young. You're going to do it. It's okay. Mikey's going to watch this video. Why am I coaching you? Another player that might have been able to get on the plane if he had a good season was Renato Sanches of Portugal. You know, this wonder kid, when he signed for Swansea, everyone was in shock. How did they manage to sign such a good player? But he just wasn't able to deliver, and eventually Swansea were relegated from the Premier League. You know, the only memorable thing from Renato Sanches last season was when he passed the ball to a marketing board thinking it was a player. That's his season summed up. He just didn't have the right season. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because he weren't ready for the Premier League. I'm not too sure, but it wasn't the best season for Sanches, unfortunately. Again, you have to remember, Portugal won the Euros 2 years ago, and this was a player that was in that team. We all thought, that's it, 2 years to prepare, get in the World Cup, he's going to be wonder kid. But unfortunately, 20 years old at the minute, just couldn't make it. Just couldn't make it. Didn't have the right season. Maybe going to Swansea wasn't the right choice. Well, not maybe, obviously it wasn't the right choice. But he's still young again, he'll get in the next one. Next up we've got Virgil van Dijk, and just like Italy, Holland were another team that we all expected to be in the World Cup this year. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it either. Holland finished third in their qualifying group, and therefore they didn't make it to the World Cup, and Liverpool's key defender won't be playing at this tournament. Maybe he'll be sat in a pub somewhere, I'm not sure. To be honest, personally, I'm a bit gutted about Van Dijk, I'm a bit gutted about Holland, because they're just a team that I like to watch. You know, when England have inevitably been knocked out, I'll either watch Italy or a bit of Holland. Neither of them in it this year. I don't even get it. I don't even get it. Who am I going to watch when England get knocked out? Let me know in the comments. Who should I support and why? Next up we've got Gareth Bale. In Euro 2016, Wales showed that there were no pushovers. They did amazingly, to be fair. And we were all wondering whether they were going to replicate that this time around. Unfortunately, they couldn't even qualify, and you know, the effect that Chris Coleman had originally, it just wasn't working. He eventually left and went to Sunderland, and you know, we all know what happened from there. Gareth Bale helped Wales get to the semi-finals in the Euro 2016, which is amazing. I mean, I would have loved England to get anywhere near there, but no, knocked out to Iceland. Let's forget about that. New memories to be made this time around, and you know, at least we're going. Sorry, Wales fans. But yeah, they were close to qualifying. They missed out on a playoff spot to Republic of Ireland, who then got hammered by Denmark. It could have been different, but it just wasn't meant to be for Wales and Gareth Bale. Next up, we've got Arturo Vidal. And unfortunately, the midfield maestro just wasn't able to do enough to guide Chile to their third consecutive World Cup appearance. He will be sitting out. He'll be on the beach. Chile failed to qualify when they fell to defeat to Brazil, and unfortunately Vidal wasn't even able to play there. He was watching on hopelessly from the stands as he picked up a suspension and couldn't play in that game. Maybe if he didn't get it, things could be different. It still would have been a mean feat to beat Brazil. Finally, we've got Dimitri Payet, and this is a player that we thought was going to get in the French squad. And this is a squad that's got so much depth, it's unbelievable. But he's had a great season for Marseille, scoring 9 goals and getting 20 assists. Unfortunately, he had a horror of a European final. The European Cup final against Atletico Madrid, he found out he was injured, he was out of the World Cup. And not only that, they lost the European final as well. Absolutely horrible for Payet. And you know, at 30 years old, is he really going to be able to get to another one? You know, with the absolute strength of that French side, are they really going to be able to fit him in? That could be his last chance at getting any World Cup glory. And it's such a shame for him. I know people have different opinions on him, but it's always a shame to see this kind of thing happen to a footballer. Payet is 31 now, and you have to think, is he going to make another big tournament with France? Is he going to have a chance of winning it? I don't think so. You know, as well as he's played, he's just been so unlucky to get injured in this way, and it is a real shame for Dimitri, but that is the way football is. Football doesn't play to fairy tales. Football is cruel sometimes and amazing and beautiful other times. That's the way it is, and it just shows, you know, if a player is playing at that World Cup, if they're able to and they're ready and they're in that squad, they should feel so lucky to be part of that. And that's what I think the England players should feel. These England players are going to a massive tournament. It's a big one coming up now. There are a few England players that I could have mentioned in this list. You know, you've got Joe Hart, that was probably a shock, but I wouldn't say he's really up there with some of the best players. He really isn't. Gareth Southgate seems to be going for youth and sort of preparing for the 2022 World Cup, giving this squad experience now so that we can maybe be successful in future years to come. I'm not totally against that, to be fair. I think we can still have a good account of ourselves, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Anyway, that is it for today. If you did enjoy this kind of content, this kind of World Cup content where I'm talking about it a little bit, let me know in the comments because I'll do them again. Drop a like on the video if you want to see more of this. Remember, my link to the Patreon is in the description if you want to help out the channel, help support it, help grow it. We've got big plans coming for next summer. Big plans. I hope you enjoy, I hope you stick around, and I hope you watch another video. At the end of the screen, there'll be some videos pop up and a little subscribe button. If you want to check another video out, go ahead. We're going to open it up. We've got a load of Blues content. We're going to get World Cup content. FIFA content is coming soon. And I hope you can't wait as much as I can't. Alright? Appreciate ya, as always. And I'll see you next time.